Hi everyone, this is your reading for the week of April 13th, or when you see this and it resonates with you. Now, self-awareness exercise, as you know, starts with the contemplation card, and in this case, it is abandonment. So, abandonment isn't just the experience of being left. It carries with it a much deeper sense of desertion, of being left vulnerable, without the support or tools we need in order to survive, either emotionally or physically. I'm getting a ringing in my ear. Okay, I always ask my guides, Spirit, what do they want to offer us for the upcoming week? And for me, the upcoming week, it just starts whenever the cards start. So abandonment, I think, is really important as we're looking at this, as we're going into this. The idea of being left vulnerable without the support or tools we need in order to survive, either emotionally or physically. This is something that it's a really, really old ache. It's an old wound, that sense of being cut off. But if you look at this and you look at this in terms of what's going on around us, we can easily feel abandoned by the belief systems that we invested in, whether it's through believing that the systems of our government and our economy and our spiritual traditions, wide and varied though they may be, always have our best interest at heart. And now we're seeing the dissolving, not just of the structures that have supported us, but we're seeing the dissolving of those parts of us, those parts of ourselves that had a place of safety within them, that had a sense of familiarity. We knew at least what we needed to do to keep going on. But when the systems start to collapse, it's not just the system, it's our identification with who we are in relation to that system. So this can be what's going on globally now, can really trigger that deep feeling without even naming it as abandonment. If you go back to the phrase being left vulnerable without the support or the tools we need in order to survive, either emotionally or physically, it's hitting the whole world on every level right now. So I find this one really very fascinating. And I love the two cards that come with it. The card that Spirit is asking us to embrace is the energy of kindness. What does that mean? Here's a look at the card. Kindness. This carries a quality of gentleness, empathy, gracious consideration, and humaneness. It may be expressed in an attitude of sympathy, amiability, benevolence, or tenderness. Each time you have the choice to be right or kind, choose kind. Okay. If you think about what that energy feels like, there's a softening quality to it. But kindness also, there's a very expansive quality to it. Kindness does not mean weakness. Kindness does not mean letting people take advantage or walk over you. Kindness actually can mean quite the opposite. When the truth of how you're feeling about somebody then gives them the option to look at their own behavior in ways that may not be serving them, or certainly may not be serving your relationship. So kindness, if we take this and we now apply it at a global level, what we can do is we can look at that and say, okay, each time you have the choice to be right or kind, choose kind. What does that mean when we're seeing people do horrific things? How can we be kind in the face of the rampant inhumaneness that we're seeing around us on so many different levels? How can we be kind if we start understanding the nature of the systems as they are now, have always been this way, but just not exposed? How do we remain kind in that? Well, let's go to the third card, and maybe that's going to help. What we're being told is, for your awareness activity, for your action card, imagine that angels are everywhere. Today, imagine that everyone you meet is an angel sent to you by some benevolent force for your own best good. Remember, everyone's an angel, no matter what they look like or act like, no matter what they do, say, or don't do or say. Ooh, how does this affect how you behave towards them? How does it shift the dynamic? And what do you notice about your prejudices and prejudgments? Okay, so here's the thing. This is how I'm going to look at this. And of course, for those of you who've been following me for a while with these, you know that they are meant to get you thinking, to get you deliberately changing your energy, realizing that you can do it, and to apply these things in the real world around you so that they become something you experience in the moment, which is when change happens, is when you make those choices in the moment. If we can look at this just for a minute, bear with me on this. Can you imagine that everything that's going on, everything, is a playing out of energies that need to be played out? That it's not about the good or bad of any individual. It might be about the weakness, the trauma, the selfishness, the lack of consciousness, the lack of all of that stuff. But what if we are coming in always to learn and grow? What if even those people who are doing the things we detest, just what if, I'm not saying I necessarily think this, but what if they're here doing a really crappy thing to wake us all up? What if this is playing out on this stage exactly the way it is because it had to get this bad before those of us who are willing to do the work would do the work? Because you folks know this stuff isn't easy. Self-awareness and diving deep and looking at our own weaknesses and things about ourselves that we don't like, the distaste, the self-loathing, the shame, whatever is under there for any of us that might be lingering and holding us back in restricted and lack of self-love. If these things need to come up in order for us to really be able to unite with that higher conscious mind, to get those things into conscious awareness in ourselves so that we can grow beyond them, what if all of that needs to happen? Now, again, I'm not saying that this is going to be an easy concept, but I'm just saying, can you for a moment take that and say, if it were this way, how easy would it be for me to be kind? How easy would it be for me to not feel so vulnerable, because I would be understanding that there is divine presence in everything, and that as I align with divine presence, I will be taken care of, because I am not abandoned. In fact, what I am finding again, or maybe for the first time, or rediscovering, is my deep connection to my higher conscious self. And therefore, I am never abandoned, ever. So look at where you find abandonment. These ideas, they're going to take a different avenue depending upon who you are and what your experiences have been, what your belief system is, how flexible you are. They're going to be different for everybody, and they're meant to be. So I'm suggesting these things, and please take them and do with them what is relevant for you. For me, I'm going to look at, where have I abandoned myself? Where have I chosen to abandon the higher ground in myself? My higher moral ground. And when I say my higher moral ground, I don't mean judgment and blame. I mean loving, conscious awareness and acceptance of people the way they are, even if it doesn't suit me. That's one thing I look at. So where am I abandoning myself? By not choosing to align with my higher conscious mind, by not choosing to align my heart with my brain. Where am I not doing what I need to do in order to be able to stay in that higher frequency of kindness? And kindness has a very expansive, kindness breeds kindness. You see it all around you. It is something that has a beautiful resonance that's very, very attractive to people. So as attractive as the negative can be for us, because we're so used to it as humans, and the aspect of survival, the instinctive survival instinct that can come with contractedness, fear, all of that stuff, when we can associate kindness in our minds with our ability to be fully present and clear and aware, and to know what we need to do in order to express ourselves fully within kindness, whether or not that's stopping, starting, growing, moving, whatever that is for you. What does that feel like? It's a very, very open, expansive energy. So the more you can bring that into yourself, the more you're going to find that sense of connection to yourself, the more you are going to be able to imagine angels everywhere. And the more you're going to be able to understand that you have exactly what you need and will always have exactly what you need. Because when you're asking the universe for it, you're basically telling yourself you're ready for it. Okay? Oh, that's quite a lot. Again, you might just take this very, very simply and just go, okay, I'm going to see the world now. What if that person who was just rude to me was an angel? What might they have been offering me as an opportunity to learn and grow? Every time I want to make somebody bad or wrong, what if I imagine them as an angel? How does that change how I feel about it? And you might find that it just simply removes some fear, which in itself right now is a really good thing. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this, my dears. Abandonment, kindness. I think I held this up, but in case that I didn't, there we go. There we go. All right. Abandonment, kindness, angels everywhere. Keep your eyes out. I will be making an announcement next week for when we are going to have a live event. Take care. Bye.